Hi, I'm Karina, this is English in Brazil e hoje nós vamos falar sobre 5 coisas que você não deve dizer em inglês. Eu acho muito importante a gente discutir esse assunto aqui no canal, porque não adianta nada eu ter uma pronúncia perfeita, eu saber construir uma frase com a gramática perfeita, se na hora de me comunicar eu acabo fazendo as escolhas erradas e acabo soando mal educado ou rude. Então, por isso, eu selecionei 5 tópicos que se aplicam na maioria dos países falantes de língua inglesa, se não todos, não sei, deixa aqui nos comentários depois que assistir o vídeo. Mas pra você ter cuidado, tá, no uso das suas palavras. E esse vídeo é patrocinado pelo Cambly, que é uma plataforma na qual você pode fazer aulas com falantes nativos do Canadá, dos Estados Unidos e da Inglaterra. Tem professores disponíveis 24 horas por dia, você pode fazer pelo computador ou pelo celular, através do aplicativo. E através desse código que tá aparecendo aí na tela, você ganha 15 minutos gratuitos para fazer uma aula experimental no Cambly. Então agora a gente vai começar a falar inglês e se você quiser é só ativar as legendas aqui no YouTube. So hi Lynn, say hi to Brazil.
Hi Brazil, hi Karina. Thank you for inviting me here today.
Thank you for being here with us. Tell us a little bit about yourself, where you're from.
Sure. My name is Lynn G on Cambly and I live in California in the United States. It's beautiful and sunny here.
I know, I've been there.
Gorgeous, I know. And I started on Cambly and I fell in love with it and all my students, so that's where I am today.
So today we're going to talk about 5 things you shouldn't say in the USA because they may sound rude, okay? And the first one is related to professions. In Brazil, it's common for us to say waiter or teacher. What would you say about it?
Yeah, I would say that when it's a part of someone's professional title, it's okay. For example, Dr. Jones or Professor Smith. You would use their occupation with their name, with their last name. But just to call someone by their profession, to say waiter or sales girl, come help me, or teacher, we wouldn't do that here. Mm-hmm. A lot of times people will introduce themselves as they're helping you. They'll say, hi, my name is Lynn. If you need anything, please ask. But we don't remember. We don't remember their names. So we try to get their attention with eye contact or a gesture, and we say, excuse me, excuse me. The question of teacher, many times here, teachers will introduce themselves as Mr. Jones, Mrs. Jones, Miss Jones, and that's how you're expected to refer to them. But we wouldn't just say, teacher, I have a question. We would address them by Mr., Mrs., or Miss and their last name.
Okay, awesome. And it's funny because it sounds absolutely formal for us Brazilians, like using somebody else's last name. Nobody knows my last name, you know, but it's interesting.
It's common here, and I think it's seen as a sign of respect.
Okay. And the second one is still related to the restaurant environment. So sometimes when we translate from Portuguese to English, we tend to say, waiter, I want a Coke. So we know that we shouldn't use waiter. We should say, excuse me. But what about I want?
I want is considered rude. To just say, I want a Coke, I want a cheeseburger, we wouldn't do that. We try to be very polite and say, oh, I would like, or could I please have, could I have more water, please? Or we would say, may I have more water? Thank you. But we wouldn't say, I want. It sounds demanding. It sounds like I'm ordering you. I want a Coke.
Bring me my Coke now.
So we try to say things, you know, I would like, or could I please have, or may I have?
Or can I have also, right?
Yes, can I have a Coke? Yeah, that's perfectly acceptable.
Awesome. And the third one is related to asking strangers questions. For example, what time is it? Because in Brazil, if you have a special intonation, you can say, que horas são? And it's fine. But how does it sound for you in English?
That sounds rude to us. Just go up to a stranger and say, what time is it? Or where is the supermarket? Seems very direct, very abrupt, and rude. We would normally say, oh, excuse me, what time is it? Or excuse me, do you have the time? We might say, excuse me, do you have a moment? I'm looking for the supermarket. Where is it? So we would try to get the person's attention with excuse me first. And sometimes we'll ask the person if they have time to answer that question. Do you have a moment? I'm looking for this restaurant.
Now the fourth situation involves a specific word that we're not going to mention in this video, but we can call the N word. Let me just explain a little bit in Portuguese. Em português, a gente quando vai traduzir negro, a gente pode pensar que a tradução melhor é the N word, which is very, very offensive. So Lynn is going to explain this a little bit more to us.
Okay, so this particular word, the word we're not going to mention, really bad history in the United States. It's considered very offensive. We wouldn't say it in public. We wouldn't say it in work. We wouldn't say it at school. We would not use it. It's considered very insulting. So many people, the word black has been evolving over time. Many times minority groups will choose what they want to be called. But unfortunately, in history, sometimes the majority picks the word to describe smaller groups. And that's when people get offended. And over the years, it has changed in that Black Americans wanted to be called Black. And I think that people should respect that. If you want to be called something, that's how you should refer to people.
Absolutely. And what if I'm Black?
This is an interesting subject. I remember years ago, back when Oprah Winfrey had a talk show, she was discussing this issue. She said, and she was talking to people in the audience, they said, well, I'm Black, I can call my friend that word, but you can't call me that. So it's something that we can't call each other out in public. But maybe if that person's Black, they choose to use that word with their friends. But it's probably not a great idea to use that word at all. But yeah, that's a very sensitive topic and one that has not been decided.
Yeah, so that's why the best option is not saying this word.
Saying it ever. You don't want to get into.
And the last one is related to making jokes about terrorism and bombs. And I added this topic here because I made a joke about terrorism in California, and my friend, who's a Brazilian, she said, shh, don't say that. You shouldn't say this here. And I said, oh my God, I'm so sorry. So could you talk a little bit about this, please?
Yeah, I think this is sensitive also, but I think the problem is that, there are times when things are calm in the world where you can make little jokes and it's not a big deal. But when things are happening in the world and people are on high alert and they're very sensitive about things, sometimes you can't say that. So for example, we're always told when we go to the airport, we're told, don't make any jokes about bombs, don't make any jokes about terrorists or terrorism. You just don't do that. If I were with my friend, I wouldn't think it was a problem. But out in public, I probably wouldn't joke.
Well, so thank you, Lynn, very much. And I have to tell you that your English sounds like music to my ears. You're like a recording. Your English is so beautiful.
You, that's so kind. A long time ago, I used to do commercials, radio commercials, and I used to say things like this: extraordinary television for an extraordinary community.
Awesome. I'm so happy that I found you on Cambly because you're so sweet and you contributed a lot to the discussions that I proposed here. So thank you very much.
Oh, thank you, Karina. It was my pleasure. I want to say obrigada, Karina, and thank you, Brazil. Thank you, Brazil. All of my students are beautiful, and I hope to meet more of you in the future.
Yeah, bye. Então é isso, gente. Espero que tenham gostado desse vídeo. Eu acho que deu pra perceber a importância de a gente aprender essas sutilezas, né? Pra gente não causar problemas, assim, durante alguma viagem ou, enfim. Eu não quero passar por mal educada, então por isso eu adoro aprender sobre essas coisas. Eu quero ser polite, always polite. E se você gostou do vídeo, clique em gostei e compartilhe também com seus amigos que estão aprendendo inglês, porque assim você ajuda demais o meu canal a crescer e a ser reconhecido aqui no YouTube. See you next video. Bye!